Hello and welcome to my Lights in Lockdown video. My name's Jemma and I normally go to the central site of Life Southampton, and I'm just going to have a chat to you really about what my lockdown's been like. So I live on my own and I live on the east side of the city, so I'm lucky, I live really close to the shore, and lockdown for me has been a bit strange. I don't have a paid job, so I normally spend a lot of my time volunteering, and all of my voluntary and charity work have just stopped in lockdown basically. In lockdown I've been reflecting a lot about God, my relationship with God, and how that's changed over the last 10 years and what God has planned for my life versus what I planned for my own life, being self-reliant and accepting that God has a plan for my life. And I guess what I've really accepted over the last few months in lockdown, and what I've really spent a lot of time reading about, is about suffering. Now, that may sound like a slightly depressing topic to be looking at when the country and the world is facing such a crisis, but it's actually given me quite a lot of comfort, and I'd really recommend, if you haven't already, checking out Si Munsey's preach on Psalm 88, because a lot of the themes that are in that psalm and in that preach that Si delivered have run through my study and me looking at myself and looking at theology. You see, last year I had some treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder, and the treatment was kind of the last thing to try. I had been begging God, literally crying out to God and begging God to take away the post-traumatic stress disorder and the anxiety that comes with it, and God wasn't taking it away. So when I finally got approved for talking therapy on the NHS and finally started that, I was praying to God and I had the pastoral team behind me, and I was like, I know God can work in this situation. I know that God can work through my therapist. I know that God can work through me in this. But then after a year of working really hard with a therapist, we realised that the therapy was just making me worse and the treatment was failing. And as I said, I had already cried out to God in this situation. I'd done the Freedom in Christ course multiple times. I'd done healing prayer sessions. I'd gone to churches that were having healing services. And I had really cried out to God, literally. I'd shed tears. I had begged God to take this away and take away the anxiety that fuels it. And I really had to come to accept that God isn't going to take this away. And that is hard. And there's no getting around that. But I have reached a place where I accept that God, as I say, isn't going to take it away. And I'm at a place where I know that God has the perfect plan for my life. And I just don't know what that is yet. And I still pray that at some point God will take away this kind of thorn in my mind and heal me of PTSD. But I also accept that God might not. And who am I to question why God heals sometimes and then sometimes doesn't heal? Who am I to question our God, who only works for our good? So I've reached a real place of acceptance with that, and part of that has been trying to communicate the struggles I face with living with severe enduring mental illness. I've only spoken about PTSD, but I have other diagnoses too, and they aren't going away, and God isn't healing my mind, and I have to accept that I have to live with them, and that's okay because it's part of God's plan. And so I've read an awful lot during lockdown. So the verse I want to share with you is this. It's Job 12:22. He uncovers the deeps out of darkness and brings deep darkness to light. I actually have this verse next to my bed, and I read it in the tough moments, because I know whatever darkness I am experiencing in my life, be it my physical health or my mental health or both, God is going to bring the situation to light. I just don't know when. And I just have to put my trust in God that He has the answers. It's kind of like I know that there is hope in God, even if there isn't earthly hope anymore. Thank you for joining me on my purple sofa. I hope you are all well. I pray that you are safe and well.